How to Write a Series, Connecting Your Characters. I'm Karen Beery with Right Now Editing, where we turn good manuscripts into great books.
I'm Peg Thomas, multi-award winning author and editor, and we are two editors for 5 minutes.
And I promised you the start of a series this week, so we're going to start a series this week. And we're going to start a series on how to write a series and the different ways that you can write a series. And I'm not going to start the clock until now because that was a whole lot to say, and we don't want to take up our 5 minutes with titles. So, Peg and I are both fans of series. We have both written series. And there are different ways to do that. I am finishing my first series and I did not put a whole lot of thought into it. It's been a bear. So we want to help you avoid the mistakes that we made. We're going to start by talking about a series that is based around connected characters.
And
Peg, what is
I have to be fully upfront. I've never written this kind of series. But one of my favorite authors, Robin Patchen, has written several series like this, and I really enjoy reading them. And what she does is, her current one is The Wright Heroes of Maine, and it's all these brothers whose last name is Wright. And in each book is about a different brother, but of course they're connected because they're brothers, right? And they help each other. And so ones from the previous book will show up in the other books, and it's it's fun to read because you've already invested in some of these characters in the earlier books. But even if you didn't, the books would stand alone. You would be able to figure out what's going on because in doing a connected character series, you need to make sure that each one can stand alone. Okay, it's not a saga where one thing just builds, it's not the same storyline going through. Each one has its own complete storyline, but the characters are related to the book characters in other books.
And you do actually see this a lot with families. Probably one of the most famous in Christian fiction is going to be the O'Malley series by D. Henderson. They were all adopted. Well, they weren't even adopted by parents. They were all orphans that adopted each other, and they all chose the same last name, O'Malley. They all work in some degree within public service. So you've got firemen, police officers, attorneys, FBI agents. They all do that sort of thing. I think one's a doctor. Um, all connected. And they're it's a family found family, but that's what brings it together. So when you're writing that type of series, timeline is huge. That's what I learned writing mine right now because it doesn't necessarily follow a timeline. It's just stories that are happening around each other. So you have to bear in mind if they're going to a 4th of July party here and I show the brother from the other story coming in and he's married, I better make sure in that other book that I don't write them as engaged at the 4th of July party. So that one, and I learned that one the hard way with what I'm doing now. So that's huge when you're writing again because it's not necessarily chronological. One book follows the next. There can be a lot of
But it
overlap.
can,
It
but it can be
can,
that way. Yes.
not
Either way is
necessarily.
fine.
Right.
Yeah. There's not a right or wrong.
No. But that's why
But chronological is easier on the author.
it is. And so that's like with
Yes.
this one that I have, I have book one, but book two kind of starts halfway over, but book three is way over here. So I don't have anything connection. So making sure you keep track of that. Um, and this is going to be the same with any series, but those character descriptions,
Yeah.
you can't have the middle child be the tall one in one book and the short one in another book. It's just
Doesn't work very well
no.
because your readers are going to catch that even if you missed it. And they will leave those comments on Amazon.
Yes. And I think one of the, and this the tricky part because I read a lot of these series, and you'll see as we talk about the series later, because Peg writes historical, she kind of leans a little more towards the other two types of series. Um, I read a lot more of the connecting characters because you see a lot of that in the contemporary romance and contemporary fiction.
Yes.
It is vitally important to make sure that if you have a main character from book one pops up as a minor character in book two, keep it consistent. So
Although
because
Gilbert Morris did write the House of Winslow series with 44, I think, books that would have been connecting characters, and that was all historical.
so there's little things you want
Did.
to keep track of, like who is the one who always says blimey? Make sure that's the only character who says blimey through the entire series. I mean, I have notes in my current series about who texts which way so that when I show the text messages appear in the book, each character sends the text messages the same way in every single book. Because even if they make a short appearance, you want that continuity. But we're out of 5 minutes and we're going to talk about this again for 2 more weeks. So we'll talk about it again next week. I'm Karen Beery.
And I'm Peg Thomas. We'll see you next time.